Where did the post go? There we go. Okay. I think we are good to go. Okay, let's get right into this. I'm going to turn the music down just a touch. And then we'll start. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to... I haven't figured out how to intro this. Anyway, welcome to news for the day of February 7th, 2022. There's a little bit to talk about because I haven't done one of these videos in a little bit. So there's definitely some stuff I wanted to talk about. Let's see if I can get this to work. Hey, cool. Oh, bad timing. There we go. Open, please. There we go. Hello, how's it going? Welcome on in. You might end up getting hit with more because I think I have it set up to do it automatically now. I don't know what. Just because it's easier. Oh, yeah. Oh, well. Saw this article, but I didn't read it yet. No problem. We're going to get right into that. So, let me just make sure I'm on the right scene. You can see the article? Cool. So, first up, Bungie hires Riot animation director for Destiny transmedia expansion. And I remember we talked about this a little bit last week about how Bungie is essentially... They're going to be an independent subsidiary and possibly expand into other forms of media, and that's kind of where Sony where this makes sense for Sony because of their huge movie arm. But we're gonna let's go ahead and get right into this. Bungie has hired Derek Tsai as its head of development for Destiny Universe Transmedia, as shared by Destiny Bulletin on Twitter. Tsai previously was director on Riot Games' League of Legends animated shorts. As part of Bungie, he will be adapting the Destiny IP across a variety of, quote, new mediums, including film, TV, animation, books, comics, and audio formats, which is according to his LinkedIn profile. Prior to joining Riot in 2020, Tsai gained over 15 years of experience across the games, animation, and film industries. Throughout his career, he worked at the likes of Obsidian, the Walt Disney Company, Marvel Studios, Universal Pictures, Crystal Dynamics, HyperX, and more. That is quite the resume. Earlier this week, this would have been last week, because this came out on Friday, Sony acquired Bungie for $3.6 billion. In an exclusive interview with GamesIndustry.biz alongside Sony head Jim Ryan, Bungie CEO Pete Parsons said the platform holder offers Bungie the ability to accelerate its plans to take its IP to other mediums. You can't help but look at Sony's accomplishments, not just as a great platform and having easily some of the best development teams in the entire world, he said, but also one of the greatest entertainment companies in the world. We saw this great opportunity to build, not just Destiny, we're working on more than Destiny. These great interactive experiences, which we think we're good at, but also being able to explore these worlds even more. And with Bungie being an independent subsidiary now, that gives them the freedom to have all of that extra stuff without... I lost my train of thought there. But we did talk about that a little bit last week. How... Ew, no, Fiverr, fuck off. We did talk about a little bit how... how Sony buying Bungie isn't just about exclusives, and I think I brought that up last week. if I remember correctly. I don't remember if I saved it. Here it is. Bungie is a pivotal weapon in PlayStation's online multiplayer assault. And this was actually an opinion piece from gamesindustry.biz, but I listed kind of the main points. There's a really great read into Sony's apparent strategy to bolster up its multiplayer front. And they have a history of buying talent and experience over actual IPs themselves. Instead of buying the IPs, they buy the studios that built them and the talent that created them. And this is actually much better explained in the actual article. Sony's great with big single-player, story-driven games. What it lacks are a good multiplayer portfolio. It's moving to change that with its latest acquisitions, and Bungie is the golden goose for live service multiplayer. Again, that article, Bungie is a pivotal weapon in PlayStation's online multiplayer assault. The opinion piece from gamesindustry.biz. If you're watching this on YouTube later, link is in the description. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Bungie is desperately trying to say, hey guys, we're not just Destiny. Yeah. And we haven't really seen much other than Destiny, at least since, I don't know, since like their Halo days. But yeah, like it sounds like they're going to be doing much more than just the Destiny game. But to go into like this whole Bungie acquisition is really starting to show that Sony is not buying Bungie for exclusivity, and there's a lot of evidence to support that. And their strategy for this acquisition, and actually like most of their acquisitions, let me find, I think it's this article. I'm trying to remember is it this? Nope, wrong button. It's 2. There we go. Oh, it actually highlights. Yeah. There we go. Bungie is a pivotal weapon in PlayStation's online multiplayer assault. It's a bit of a read. Actually, no, it's not that long. But in this opinion piece, Christopher Dring goes into detail about Sony's history of buying studios for their talent, not so much their for the IPs. Or was it the other article? Here we go. It's an article from Game Rant by Michael Beckworth. Let's see. I should have actually highlighted a quote. Here we go. One analyst has claimed that Sony has overspent on the Bungie acquisition, driven out of desperation, no doubt because of Microsoft's own major acquisitions. Sony certainly sees nothing but benefits to the deal. Aside from acquiring Bungie's IPs like Destiny, Sony also seeks Bungie's expertise on live service games. This is an area Sony is clearly very keen to thrive in, with the company already confirming plans to have 10 live service PlayStation titles out by 2026. Those aren't the only plans Sony has for Bungie either, with it looking to bring its that's more on that whole deal. According to Sony's recent earnings report for the third quarter of the 2021 fiscal year, which ends on March 31st, approximately a third of the $3.6 billion will be spent on a strategy to incentivize Bungie employees into staying with the studio. Here we go. Amongst the flurry of messages last night, this would have been, again, this is the Christopher Dring article over at gamesindustry.biz, the opinion piece. Amongst the flurry of messages last night, which would have been last a week ago today, last Monday. Amongst the flurry of messages last night, there was a clear point of confusion around Sony's decision to buy Bungie. PlayStation had finally bought itself an IP of some significance, and it insists it has no intention of using it to sell PS5 consoles. Destiny will remain multi-platform, and yes, that includes on Xbox. Totally cynical. In another ad for a sec. Definitely didn't buy Bungie in response to anything, I think. Yeah, that you're referring to where they said shit, where'd it go? Because of Microsoft's own major acquisitions. That the rest of this article is pretty good, but that specific quote, oh, actually that's actually not anything wrong with the article. It's that analyst. I don't know who the analyst was, but that doesn't make any sense because acquisitions like this don't happen just like that. This could not it's impossible for this to have been a response to the Activision Blizzard acquisition, because acquisitions like this take months to solidify. With the timing of this, it's impossible for this to have been a response. Because just the timing wouldn't line up like at all for something like that. And that line is clearly an opinion. The deal was being made a long time before Microsoft's. Yeah, exactly. This couldn't have been, because of the timing, this couldn't have been a response to the acquisition. And it is an opinion piece, but I do want to point out that they were quoting an analyst. One analyst has claimed that Sony has overspent, which I don't know what that exactly adds. I don't know. But yeah, that analyst wasn't. Yeah, more the analyst than the author of this. But yeah, I just realized I was on the wrong screen. So back to the opinion piece from Christopher Dring. So outside of a profitable and growing franchise, what does Bungie actually bring to the PlayStation business at large? To use a corporate term, what are the synergies here that makes this deal make sense? It comes down to the same reason the firm bought Naughty Dog over 20 years ago, and indeed, just look back at the more recent Sony deals: Firesprite, Bluepoint, Nixxes, I forgot how to pronounce that, Housemarque, and Insomniac. Some of those studios have IP, but nothing particularly significant. Sony picked up these companies because of the teams and their abilities, whether that's in making great games, remaking great games, porting games to PC, or utilizing new VR technology. Even outside of the acquisitions, last year Sony signed publishing partnerships with Haven Studios, Deviation Games, and Firewalk Studios. All three are new studios founded by talent that had worked on games like Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, and yes, Destiny. They're all working on new IPs, and they may not all be successful, but the collective experience of working together will no doubt prove beneficial either way. Speaking of Haven Studios, I just read an article today about how Jade Raymond's studio, who formerly worked at Ubisoft, is apparently working directly with Mark Cerny to push PlayStation to its limits. I'm gonna save that article for tomorrow, just because I don't want to take focus away from this topic, and I'll remember to put that out there. But Jesus says Sony buys Naughty Dog, proceeds to make The Last of Us TV show and an Uncharted movie. Exactly. Then we get this multimedia news with Bungie. It shows that Sony is trying to get a lot of multimedia out there. Bingo. That is exactly what I think. And it plays well for Sony, because this is something that Microsoft doesn't have, is being able to get out into other multimedia stuff. Like, obviously Microsoft has like Windows and that operating system, and they have all the cash flow from all of that stuff, But when it comes to the video game industry and multimedia industries, Sony has an upper leg there, and they're trying to utilize that, with their movie arm and their music arms. And it's going to be interesting to see. I guarantee that in the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to hear something that involves a Destiny like TV show or something. I like that the big three are all playing a different game out there. Yeah, exactly. I feel like following video game industry news today is so much more interesting even than, the console wars of the 90s, just because it's no longer a console battle. It's no longer a console war. It's they're all playing their own strategies and playing their own game, which is I think fascinating. It's just super fun to follow. I've been out for a while. Sorry. Hey, no worries. I hope you're doing well. And welcome on in. But yeah. So let's let me find. I think that's about it as far as this goes. Oh, there was this added news to it, which is essentially just, maybe I didn't write a note of it. It's essentially further proof that acquiring Bungie is definitely a sign that they're trying to increase their play. Yeah, some fun news today. This was also from last Wednesday. Sony plans to launch more than 10 live service games by 2026. This was mentioned in another article that we just read, but this is kind of more proof that this Bungie acquisition is definitely about expanding their properties into to go into more sort of multiplayer areas. Sony plans to launch more than 10 live service games. Sony Interactive Entertainment head Jim Ryan was clear from the start that the decision to buy Bungie was about bolstering the company's live service expertise. But in post-earnings comments today, today meaning last Wednesday, but in post-earnings comments today, Sony gave some idea as to just how much it will learn on the Destiny developer for that. Through close collaboration between Bungie and the PlayStation studios, we aim to launch more than 10 live service games by the fiscal year ending March 31st, the company said. The company also emphasized, and I do want to come back to this point in just a minute. The company also emphasized its commitment to multi-platform games as a major growth opportunity, not just for Bungie, but for pre-existing Sony properties. Through this acquisition, we intend to acquire new users and increase engagement on platforms other than PlayStation, which will enable us to significantly advance our long-term growth strategy of further expanding the ecosystem of our game business. Catalyzed by the acquisition of Bungie, we intend to accelerate the growth of our first-party game software revenue, aiming to more than double the current amount by fiscal year 25. Given the importance of Bungie talent for those plans, Sony also noted its plans to keep the studio's employees around post-acquisition. It said most Bungie shares were held by employees, and roughly 1/3 of the $3.6 billion purchase price for the studio comes in the form of deferred payments, conditional upon continued employment and paid out over the course of several years after the close of the acquisition. So Sony is very much intending to keep Bungie's talent there by incentivizing them with what sounds like quite a bit of a large money pool. Oh my god, yeah. Just make sure they have all their bases covered. They clearly have some great games, and they have a whole single-player thing going for them, but they should have some live service games too, ones that people care about. Yeah, exactly. paying extra for Bungie devs and stuff. Yeah, they really want to incentivize Bungie employees to stay. The reason for it is because Bungie has an expertise with live service games. You can see that with how well Destiny 2 is doing. Plus, Sony has a history of having all of their first-party studios collaborating. Like, a perfect example of this is the what is it? Last of Us Part 2, that guitar wheel or whatever, where it was like where you could choose like the different chords that you're playing. You see that same system in some of PlayStation's newer indie titles, which is further proof that they share technology between those different studios. Having Bungie under that means all of PlayStation's first-party studios can now collaborate with the expertise that Bungie has for live service games, bringing live service probably to a lot of PlayStation's other studios, or at least some kind of live service aspect to its currently existing IPs. Like, it's going to look really good, because this is something that Sony and PlayStation has lacked, is outstanding multiplayer games. And having Bungie and letting Bungie operate independently, like, is a very, very good move in my opinion. And I'm very excited. You know me, I love Xbox and everything. I'm excited to see how their own acquisitions synergize. I want to see some engines and tech being utilized across the board in the future. Yeah, seriously, being able to share resources like that is going to be pivotal for Sony's multiplayer business. And by the time we see, I think by the time 2026 rolls around, we're really going to see this Bungie acquisition pay off. Just like we've seen, Xbox's acquisitions pay off, during, obviously the Xbox One era wasn't so great for them, but they spent that entire era bolstering its first party studios and buying up first parties, buying new studios for their first party front. And we're starting to see that pay off pretty well. And now Sony is doing the same thing with the multiplayer front. Clearly Sony is over here being immediately tactical with the teams they are bringing in. Yeah, like the last 2/3 of the the Xbox One gen for sure. Yeah. So I'm very excited to see where this goes. Xbox on top. Xbox did come out on top once pretty much once Game Pass came around. Xbox got competitive with Sony, and I was a little bit worried for PlayStation. Like, I'm not the type of person who ends up, fanboying over any particular console. I just love following the business and watching their strategies. And seeing Xbox really start to catch up with PlayStation over the last couple, at least a Game Pass. Yeah. Change the minimum cheer donation. Did I? Oh, maybe I did. I don't remember if I did. I was messing around with a few different settings. Hey, thank you for the biddies. I appreciate that. Where was I? Oh, right. I'm not much of a person who I think console warriors is dumb. I can't stand it when someone is like, oh, Xbox is Xbox is better, or PlayStation is better, without really having anything to back it up. I think in the context of this, we were actually talking about that, about how Xbox's strategy over the last fuck wars give bits. You will lose. Oh, without backing up your argument. But watching Xbox's business strategy over the last generation has been fascinating, to say the least. And I'm excited to see where this Bungie acquisition takes PlayStation and takes, the competition. AFK real quick. No worries. I appreciate hanging out and appreciate the bits. All right. I think that's good on the whole Bungie topic. I know that was quite a bit. I do have. Oh God, do I want to get into this today? Fuck it. Let's talk about this. So I've got a couple stories for. See that Activision? Wait, what? Activision article? What Activision article? From today? Not a big one. I did not. I was gonna get into some NFT news, but they made a record. Oh yeah. Microsoft bought Activision. Yeah, we've been following that story quite a bit. Jesus and I are both in a community that covers a lot of news stuff, and they've been talking about that quite a bit. If you've ever heard of Kinda Funny, we met through the Kinda Funny community, and they talk about news stuff every day on Kinda Funny Games Daily. But it's a fun community. You should join it if you want to. There's also this whole Sony AI thing. Sony AI. I don't want to talk about that just because I haven't read anything on it yet. I'm going to have to read a little bit about that tomorrow. But thanks for bringing that up, because I do want to look into that tomorrow. I wasn't actually watching Kinda Funny Games Daily live today. I ended up getting into conversations at work, and I had to drop out of there. But I do want to talk about some new. I'm trying to pull some articles and share them in the Discord at least once a day. I'm reading like, I don't know, maybe 15 articles a day, just because I get up and walk around the office at work for like 10 minutes or so every hour, and I'm usually reading news stories during that whole time. Like whenever I see an article I'm interested, I click open in browser, and then I just save it for when I get up to walk around. All right, let's talk a little bit about NFTs bullshit. Whoops. Ooh. You know what? Shit. Hold on. I do want to talk about this because I did see it. This is relevant to today. And there's NFT news coming out every goddamn day, unfortunately. But I do want to get into this because this is interesting, because I don't know, whenever Stadia launched, within a couple of months, I thought Stadia was going to be just dead in like 5 years, but I was not expecting this. Stadia, this is Bryant Francis over at GameDeveloper.com, formerly known as GamaSutra.com. Teehee. Stadia might be relaunched as licensed streaming tech for publishers. Google might be pivoting its Stadia brand away from consumers and more toward large publishers. The goal would be to license the game streaming technology under the name Google Stream to companies like AT&T, Bungie, Capcom, and maybe even Peloton, the manufacturer of cycling machines. That's an interesting one. This was rough news. I mean, sucks for them. Sucks for them. But this is definitely an interesting pivot, though. At least Stadia, like the tech behind Stadia, isn't just gonna get swept under the rug because it just wasn't successful. But Continuing, that news comes from Insider, which spoke with sources familiar with Google's plans. Apparently, the hope is that Google's admittedly impressive game streaming technology would be more profitable as a white label product that fuels cloud streaming sessions under the name of the companies. And I'm just going to pause there because from what I've heard and what I've followed, I've never actually tried Stadia before, but from what I've heard, is the tech is there and the tech itself is impressive, but they could not figure out how to actually get how to build an actual game studio. They are not like Amazon and Google both are both great when it comes to technology and investing in technology, but neither of them could wrap their heads around launching a game studio because they just did not have that expertise. It took Amazon quite a while to finally get what's their game? New World? I don't mean to get political, but we desperately need some infrastructure here in the States that includes internet as a regular utility. Yeah, and that is exactly part of the problem. Is the U.S. is we do not have the greatest internet laws, because of capitalism. They make a lot of money by sort of clamping down. Yeah, we have the fucking means. We have the ability to do it, but it's more profitable to put it behind a paywall. Surprise, surprise, right? Which sucks. I hate you, Cox. Is that the dude that is that the person that is responsible for that? Yeah, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. Either way, it just sucks. But anyway, yeah, the technology itself is impressive. But when we solve that, yeah, exactly. That's the part we have to solve before like streaming becomes. Imagine the actual 5G tech working. Yeah, instead of being locked behind a paywall, so that if you're super rich, you have decent internet. Otherwise, get fucked. I say as my stream is totally fine. But it could be better. Anyway, so the technology itself is great. The problem is, obviously the US, we don't have sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought. The technology is there. We have the means to have decent internet, but obviously, being locked behind a paywall makes that hard, and it makes streaming tech to rules N-word allowed. No, absolutely not. The N-word is absolutely not allowed. Here or in any other, just nope, don't say that, like, ever. But hey, thanks for the bits. Oh yeah, you're in second place for the bits. FAVHGV is all about being humble. You're the first person I've ever bitted. Is that the verb? Bro, do you even bit? Do you bit, bro? Bro, do you even bit? Anyway, Back to this topic. Or back to the topic. I wasn't gonna go back to the article just yet. Go on. Anyway, Amazon and Google, while having streaming technology in place, couldn't get the actual first-party business or figure out first-party game development down. And Google ended up making the smart move by switching that, which is why I wanted to talk a little bit more about this. But continuing, reportedly only about 20% of Stadia's team is still working on consumer technology. AT&T publicly made use of this technology last October when it offered customers free copies of Batman Arkham Knight that could be played via their browsers. Peloton apparently already has a game on its internet-connected cycling machines that makes use of the tech. Seeing Bungie and Capcom's names in insiders reporting is very interesting. Bungie apparently has ambitions of letting players stream Destiny 2 and other games to browsers, while Capcom discussed a deal to stream game demos. Companies seem to be working on keeping an eye on the potential of cloud streaming technology and what it means for the future of live service games. Mythical Games' recent acquisition of Polystream seems like there's broad interest in acquiring players who don't have high-end PCs or game consoles. Might we be on the eve of a game streaming boom? Maybe OnLive had it right all along. I don't know what OnLive is. What is that? It's a Mountain View, California-based provider of cloud virtualization technologies. Oh, they went defunct in 2012. Original FBC acquisition, then Phoenixed. Oh, well, okay, that looks familiar. Yo, and my lady wants a Peloton. Are we saying that we could play Stadia in the Peloton? Some old Stadia. Or what if, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Ignore that one comment. OnLive is old. Oh, it's old Stadia. Okay, I get what you mean. I have hotkeys set up so that if I press 1, it switches to just me, and if I press 2, it switches to the browser. But I didn't realize that I had clicked on the actual chat box. So when I went to hit enter to switch cameras, it put that in. But I'm thinking if yeah, I just set them up before streaming today too, and it makes switching back and forth between articles and stuff and switching to just me so much easier. It's a better experience for both of us. But the Peloton bike thing sounds like maybe they could have like a like, I don't know, maybe like if they stream like a gamified workout kind of thing. Like, you know how like back on, like, I used to use it like every day, but We Fit, there's like a relaxing sort of jogging thing, and you would run around, and it would be yeah, like, yeah, or verse or compete with other bikers too if you want. Like, you could definitely gamify workouts and use the streaming technology for something like that. So I wonder if that's what Peloton wants to do, which would be interesting to read up a little bit more on when more news of that comes out. I think we'll wrap up there as far as this stuff. I did want to get into NFT bullshit, but we can save that for tomorrow, I'm sure, because I'm sure there's going to be more of a story. Other than itch.io tweeted about Google's like, pivot. I will say itch.io is an indie marketplace. Actually, fun fact, my college my college capstone project is on itch.io somewhere, which is cool. But I'm gonna bring up their actual tweet. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. A few have asked us, and they tweeted just the other day, the 5th, just a couple days ago. NFTs are a scam. If you think they are legitimately useful for anything other than the exploitation of creators, financial scams, and the destruction of the planet, then we ask that you please reevaluate your life choices. Also, fuck any company that says they support creators and also endorses NFTs in any way. They only care about their own profit and the opportunity for wealth above anyone else, especially given the now easily available discourse concerning the problems of NFTs. How can you be so dense? Sad face. So, be like itch.io and just don't get into NFTs, please. Scathing statement, dude. Yeah, like they were not fucking around. But I think that's good for today. We'll talk more about the recent NFT news, because I'm sure there's gonna be more. Itch.io made NFTs their bitch.io. Oh my god. Can I clip here? I'm gonna clip that. That's gonna be a you can look forward to that being a tweet and a TikTok. Jesus. Wow. Itch.io made NFTs their bitch.io. Oh my god, I love it. I'm gonna make that a pinned tweet now. Like retweet them or quote tweet that, and then pin that. That's hilarious. Of course I would tag you in that because video proof. God damn it, that's hilarious. All right, I think that's gonna do it for news for today. I guess I'm going to wrap this up for the YouTube version, but if you're watching this on YouTube later on, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and share with your friends, subscribe, and click that bell if you're enjoying the videos, and we'll see you next time.